global warming.
Global warming, extreme cold weather,
the global climate, greenhouse gases.
So Obama's talking about all of this with the global warming and that, and a lot of it's a hoax. It's a hoax. I mean, it's a money-making industry, okay? It's a hoax.
Summer 2023. Record-breaking heat waves cook cities from Phoenix to Paris. Meanwhile, torrential rains flood parts of Libya, leaving destruction in their wake. On the other side of the world, Saudi Arabia witnesses snow blanketing its deserts. Yes, snow. Are these extreme weather events proof that our climate is spiraling out of control? Or are we being swept up in a wave of hysteria, manipulated by agendas that profit from fear? Could the very idea of climate change be a grand deception? To understand the truth, we must dig deep into the science, the skepticism, and the stakes. Is climate change real, or is it the scam of the century? Our planet is restless. Hurricanes, droughts, floods, and snowstorms now dominate headlines with alarming frequency. But how did we get here? To understand the truth about climate change, we must first explore the story of Earth's climate and how it has transformed over time. Earth's climate has never been static. Over 4.5 billion years, it has swung between fiery heat and icy desolation. Around 11,000 years ago, the last ice age ended, ushering in the relatively stable climate of the Holocene epoch. This stability allowed civilizations to flourish, but it wasn't perfect. Between 950 and 1258, the medieval warm period brought mild temperatures across Europe. This was followed by the Little Ice Age, a colder period from the 14th to 19th centuries, which caused crop failures and famines. These natural fluctuations show that Earth's climate has always changed. But what's happening now is different, and it's happening fast. Since the dawn of the Industrial Revolution, humans have burned fossil fuels, coal, oil, and natural gas, to power an era of unprecedented progress. But this progress came at a cost. Carbon dioxide levels, once stable for millennia, surged from 280 parts per million in 1850 to 420 parts per million today, the highest in 800,000 years. This surge in greenhouse gases traps heat in our atmosphere, warming the planet. Global temperatures have already risen by 1.1 degrees Celsius since pre-industrial times. The result: melting ice sheets in Greenland and Antarctica, rising seas, and intensifying weather events. Hurricane Ian, which struck Florida in 2022, left a trail of destruction. With winds exceeding 150 miles per hour, it caused $113 billion in damages, the second most expensive hurricane in U.S. history. Warmer ocean temperatures fueled its strength, making it deadlier and harder to predict. In September 2023, a rare weather system dumped record rainfall over northeastern Libya. Entire towns were washed away, killing over 11,000 people. Scientists attribute such events to warmer seas and increased atmospheric moisture, both consequences of a warming climate. Even deserts aren't immune. In early 2023, Saudi Arabia's dunes turned white under an unusual blanket of snow, leaving many wondering, is this evidence of a shifting climate or just a natural anomaly? The 2024 Atlantic hurricane season was one for the record books, leaving a trail of destruction across the United States. With 5 hurricanes making landfall, this year saw the country grappling with an estimated $500 billion in damages, ranking among the most expensive hurricane seasons in history. The devastation was widespread, affecting coastal and inland communities alike. One of the most catastrophic storms, Hurricane Helene, hit the Carolinas hard, unleashing 42 trillion gallons of rain, equivalent to the flow of Niagara Falls over nearly 2 years. The storm alone accounted for nearly $250 billion in damages and claimed over 100 lives. In Tennessee, entire highways were submerged, while North Carolinians faced weeks without access to clean drinking water. Recovery in these regions may take years. Florida wasn't spared either. Hurricane Milton brought sustained winds and heavy flooding, particularly to the Big Bend area, leaving some residents displaced for weeks. Meanwhile, Hurricane Francine caused significant disruptions in the southeast, though its impacts were less severe compared to the larger storms. While these stories highlight the urgency of the crisis, they also raise questions. Is humanity solely responsible for these changes, or is this part of Earth's natural cycle? Skeptics argue that nature's forces, not human activity, drive these events. But how much weight does this argument hold? While carbon dioxide has increased, its role as the dominant driver of climate change is overstated. Water vapor, the most abundant greenhouse gas, has a far greater impact on trapping heat in the atmosphere. Furthermore, there's evidence that temperature rises can lead to increased carbon dioxide, not the other way around. Beyond the science, skeptics argue that climate change has morphed into a trillion-dollar industry, raising questions about financial motivations. Governments introduce carbon taxes, green companies sell eco-friendly products, and financial markets trade carbon credits, all of which fuel an economic machine. Critics highlight how renewable energy companies benefit from subsidies and regulations that disadvantage traditional industries like coal and oil. Some argue this isn't just about saving the planet, it's about creating new economic winners. Also, these skeptics believe that the push for green policies has created a new kind of economy. Wind and solar companies are booming, while fossil fuel industries are declining. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, but we must ask, are we making these changes for the right reasons, or are we overreacting to uncertain data? Another point skeptics raise is the reliability of climate models. These models predict future warming based on current trends, but their accuracy depends on countless assumptions about the atmosphere, oceans, and human behavior. Media sensationalism also fuels skepticism. Apocalyptic headlines grab attention, but can exaggerate the risks. For decades, we've heard warnings that coastal cities would already be underwater and polar bears would be extinct. While these predictions haven't fully materialized, they've sown doubt about the credibility of climate science. This skepticism has grown into a movement, with some accusing governments and scientists of manipulating data to push political agendas. For skeptics, the question remains, is the climate crisis real, or are we being misled by fear and profit motives? Skeptics don't deny that the climate is changing. They question the narrative that human activity is the sole or even primary cause. They urge caution, arguing that drastic actions based on incomplete science could do more harm than good. So who's right? Are the skeptics exposing a scam, or are they delaying action on a genuine crisis? If the warnings are true, the stakes couldn't be higher. By 2100, rising seas could displace up to 200 million people, creating one of the largest migration crises in human history. Coastal cities like Miami and Jakarta, already battling high tides and storm surges, may become uninhabitable. Entire nations, like the Maldives, face existential threats as their islands are slowly swallowed by the ocean. Yet the impacts of climate change extend far beyond rising seas. Rivers that once nourished entire civilizations are drying up. In Africa and the Middle East, water scarcity is fueling conflicts as nations and communities fight over dwindling resources. By 2050, experts predict that up to 700 million people could be at risk of displacement due to water scarcity alone. Extreme heat could also overwhelm urban areas, turning cities into pressure cookers. In 2023, heat waves in Europe led to thousands of heat-related deaths, while wildfires choked the air with smoke, causing respiratory crises. This isn't just an environmental issue. It's a health crisis, a security issue, and a humanitarian challenge all rolled into one. But skeptics ask, could our focus on climate change distract us from other pressing global challenges? Poverty, education, and healthcare remain critical issues. For every dollar invested in renewable energy, could that money be better spent providing clean water, fighting disease, or improving infrastructure in the world's poorest regions? Public opinion is divided. Climate marches demand urgent action to save the planet, while others protest rising energy costs, food shortages, and job losses linked to environmental policies. The world is at a crossroads, and whichever path we choose will have profound consequences. Whether you believe the crisis is real or fabricated, one thing is certain: inaction has consequences. If the science is correct, failing to act could push ecosystems and societies to the brink of collapse. But if the skeptics are right, overreacting could squander resources and deepen global inequalities. Are we facing a genuine planetary emergency or a cleverly constructed illusion? Are the floods, the snow, the hurricanes, and the heat waves a dire warning from nature, or part of a natural cycle that humanity has misinterpreted? For every chart, study, and theory, there is a counterargument. The evidence is vast and compelling, yet the opinions remain deeply divided. Climate change isn't just a scientific debate, it's a human story. For the farmer watching their crops fail or the family fleeing the storm, the stakes are painfully real. But for those questioning the narrative, the stakes are equally high. Economic upheaval, freedoms curtailed, and resources potentially misallocated. So, where does the truth lie? We are but one planet in an infinite cosmos, yet our choices, our debates, and our actions define the future of this fragile blue dot. Are the extreme weather patterns a wake-up call demanding immediate action, or are they a misread chapter in Earth's long and ever-changing story? The answer may not come from experts or governments. It may come from all of us. What do you believe? Are we being lied to, or is it time to act before it's too late? This is your world. The choice and the responsibility is yours. What's your take? Is climate change a genuine crisis demanding immediate action, or is it an exaggerated narrative? Share your thoughts and insights in the comments section below. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our informative future videos. Stay informed, stay engaged.